Hello, my name is Rocco Strangio, and I'm the host of the Law, AI, and Money podcast. I bring on attorneys, engineers, and entrepreneurs to unravel the world of AI and to discuss how it'll affect the legal profession. Today, I'm joined with Ed Scanlan, the founder and CEO of Bridge Legal. Ed has been developing legal tech for over 20 years and has amassed numerous awards for his work as an entrepreneur. In our conversation, Ed and I talked through the ways AI will change the world and, of course, the ways Bridge Legal is bridging the gap to improve access to civil justice. Thank you for joining our conversation. Hey Ed, how you doing?
I'm great, Rocco. How are you?
I'm doing good. Ed, as somebody who founded and is the CEO of a very successful company, having you on is a great privilege. So thank you for coming on.
Well, I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me, Rocco.
Yeah. Before we start talking about AI, could you please tell me a little bit about yourself and, what made you create Bridge Legal?
Sure. So I've been building legal tech businesses now for almost embarrassed to say it, over 20 years. Started my first one when I was 25, and have really just focused on trying to build the tools lawyers need to be able to help more clients at scale. Sometimes those are related to helping them acquire clients. Sometimes it's helping them communicate better with clients. Sometimes it's helping them um, execute the workflows related to legal product, but have always been really close to really helping lawyers do their jobs more efficiently so that they can help more people. And I think, if I look back over 20 years, I think one of the reasons I probably ended up in this corner is my dad's a litigator. So I grew up on Saturdays going down to his personal injury law office and, hanging out in the law library and breaking their phone systems and Xeroxing my hand and whatever else I would do as a kid. So I didn't go to law school, but somehow I've ended up here spending the last almost my entire career really focused on kind of building tools to help people like him execute their job more efficiently to be able to help more people.
Yeah, that's awesome. You probably know more about the law than many lawyers, having been in it this long and around your father. Um, Bridge Legal, I've been in the space for a little bit, in the space of mass torts, and you guys are a big name in terms of intake. How are you guys improving access to civil justice?
Yeah, so Bridge Legal is really all around just automating workflows. So we have built out a technology platform called Bridgeify, and Bridgeify is the only sort of single purpose application for managing the automation of complex workflows for high volume litigation firms. So we can automate workflows like you mentioned, intake. We can automate workflows around plaintiff fact sheets. We can automate workflows around claim forms, census submissions, record review and retrieval. Really anything that a firm is doing that is a process, we can map out inside our software. And between the technology we have and our back office, which is behind me, we're able to assist firms basically process through massive amounts of workflows or tasks or whatever the firm may think of it as, and deliver an exceptional high quality because everything's driven through tech and data management and all of those good things.
Yeah, well, that's a lot more than what I originally thought. I thought you guys were specializing in intake, but it sounds like you guys are well beyond that.
Yeah, for
How
sure.
are you
And,
guys?
and and to maybe just kind of make sure I hit your
Yeah,
question, I mean, as far as access to justice, I mean, our mission is increasing human access to justice. And how we do that is, the world's not going to produce enough lawyers to be able to solve all the challenges that, you know, humans have. And so by being able to automate the sort of rote workflows or even complex ones that aren't rote and allow them to be able to architect a process on our platform with us and then have either our tech or our people with our tech deliver on that, allows them to help more people. And frankly, that is, in my view, one of the biggest challenges is there just aren't enough lawyers to help all the people that actually have, things they would like to have solved through a legal proceeding.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, there's, I mean, I guess this kind of segues into what we're going to discuss a little bit about AI is that despite, you know, the sheer volume of lawyers there are in America, I think there's more than 1 million lawyers in the United States, we're still seeing issues because of the lack of technology being used in the legal system. Dockets are, you know, jammed as much as ever,
For
and that's
sure.
not going to change unless we develop technology. And I know you guys are developing technology in house. You guys are bullish on that. And, I've heard that from you that you guys have hired a lot of tech engineers to go out and build this tech. And so that's what we need to be doing to improve the access to civil justice, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. We've been investing very, very heavily in engineering. We've probably got 30 or 40 people now. It's a very large portion of our company developing Bridgeify. And that has been going on now for a few years. We really do think that um, technology in general, we'll talk about AI, really has a chance to have a great dent. You mentioned dockets are getting clogged. I mean, that's true, but really the reality is there aren't even people getting to the stage of clogging a docket. If you look at some of the reports over the last, maybe say 10 years around access to justice, it's pretty horrific. I mean, you look at the uh, Justice Gap report by Legal Services Corporation, or LCS. I think they said 98% of tenants in New York were representing themselves in eviction cases. 95% of parents are representing themselves in child custody cases. Um, and even just the Legal Services Corporation said that even those folks that are reaching their hand up and saying they want help from them, they can't even help more than 50% of them because there's just not resources to do it. So if you look to like AI has two things it can do. It could help consumers handle some of those challenges directly themselves and can also empower lawyers to be able to review documents more quickly, to use predictive analytics to create case strategies, to use chatbots to better communicate with large numbers of clients, all with lawyers kind of driving that and tweaking and refining the models they use. So I think it's both going to be an opportunity for consumers to have greater selection of do they want to do this themselves. My belief is they actually are still going to want to work with a lawyer more often than not. Like people like the idea of a lawyer. It's why you went to law school, right? I mean, lawyers are powerful figures. They're advocates for people, and I think that human touch is still always going to exist. And so if you could take yourself and make yourself superhuman, whereas opposed to handling a docket of maybe 50 to 100 cases of a particular case type, you actually could handle 10,000 and give them the same level of service that you were giving your 50 to 100. That's how we're actually going to put a dent in some of the access to justice issues. And it's not just an issue in the US. I mean, the World Justice Report, I think it's called, it was in 2019. They were finding that, only like less than 20% of the people were even aware that they could actually have one of the problems they have solved by a legal issue. So it's also an awareness issue, which I think that could also be solved with, and will be solved over the coming years with AI, where you can actually, as a consumer, put a bot on your Gmail that is your lawyer bot that's looking over everything and saying, do you know these terms and conditions just changed? This click wrapper agreement that just went in your inbox now just says this. Are you aware that, you may be able to solve this with whatever? And then, so I think you're going to increasingly see more and more law firms developing sort of proactive technologies to help support humans, which these proactive technologies already exist for corporations, but no one's really building it for humans. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really, where I get the most excited. I think there's opportunities for everybody, but I get excited about helping that underrepresented group have as effective counsel as Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah. Two things I want to touch on. I think, first of all, what you said was so valuable because that is the future. I think lawyers are worried that, you know, the inception of AI is going to make them less valuable and might dilute their value to clients. But the reality is that, you know, that's a misconception that there's so much law to be had out there. Lots of people, like you said, don't realize that they have legal issues, and most of the lawyers can't even take their cases. So these dockets that are clogged are just like, the surface that's getting scraped. We have so much more law to be had, and this kind of segues into the next point is that I feel like data and AI is only gonna push that even further, um, to solve that issue because they're using data now to uncover issues that people might have that they don't even know about. Like, for example, if you took a certain medication and you're going to the store and buying this, that's a symptom of this condition, which now is an MDL.
I mean,
Um,
maybe take it one step further, right? I mean, what you're talking about is sort of the first one arriving on the scene to help triage once there's been an issue. But think of you thinking of buying that drug, and maybe the FDA hasn't put a warning label on there. Could the AI actually say there's 13 studies out of the EU right now that you might want to be aware of? The summary of that is that this drug has been known to cause blindness in less than 1% of its patients, but it might be something you want to be aware of and talk to your doctor. So, like, you can even see a world where it's actually just going to increase overall health. And that's, you start thinking about the impacts that AI could have on humanity. I know this is talking about legal here, but
mhm.
yes, I think it's going to create opportunities for lawyers who adopt AI. There's 100% chance of that. I think it's also going to be displacing for those who don't. I think that's almost so a certainty. Um, but you look at other industries and impacts it could have. I mean, you know, global warming, health, we just talked about. Productivity in general, like our country in the United States, we've got a serious issue with, our spending habits.
Mhm.
And, look at the federal deficit.
Yeah.
Productivity and GDP could go up and actually maybe create a tax base that we could actually afford to start to pay down and cover some of, the ridiculous amount of debt that our country has acquired. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about its impacts and having played with it now and having it in our application, Bridgify, and seeing that, we can actually spot a proof of diagnosis now with AI on like 70% of the records. And we've only been engineering with it for a few months. Like,
Yeah.
you can see how fast this is going to get to a really, really exciting place.
Yeah. Well, the more we talk, the more you open my eyes to the benefits and positives that AI will bring about, not just in the legal realm, but in most fields. Are there any dangers that you can foresee, though? Are there some that you think that are popular but they're overstated, and some that we should really be taking account for?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd be a little too Pollyanna to say that this is all going to go swimmingly, right? I think, AI could be used by the wrong people to do things as powerfully as the people trying to use it for good. So whether that's, hacking corporate systems and holding companies, uh, hijacking companies to force like ransomware stuff like that,
Hmm.
that could increase. I think cyber is going to get really interesting with AI as you're having them kind of battle each other. Um, I don't have too much concern about sort of like AI, like turning into robots and killing us all. Like that sort of concern, I'd say maybe I feel is a little overblown, but I also am very eyes wide open that I don't think we really know and understand all of the potential impacts of how fast this is moving. I've been doing technology stuff for 20 years. I've never seen anything move at this pace, not even close. Within, the span of about 3 months, our engineering team doubled its productivity because of they're using AI for unit testing and automated, regression testing and all this stuff. They literally doubled their productivity in like the span of like a month or two. Like, that's crazy to think of like how fast that's happening. And the engineers are the first because they understand what AI can do. It's going to get to business next. So, I do think we're going to see, just like we did when, the industrial revolution happened, or, like factories, and like things are going to change, and it's going to be an interesting period of time as that change happens. But I actually do believe that GDP will go up. I actually do believe that there'll be more stuff for people to do. New jobs will evolve from this. But it'll be interesting to see in the near term what that means. Um, so the tool is powerful, used in the wrong way powerfully. I think there are concerns there. Um, but I think those concerns can be very much outweighed by, can cancer be cured 10 years earlier because of AI? Can we truly find, a way to capture carbon in the atmosphere? Like these things that people have been studying for a long time, can AI really help make them superhuman and study it a lot more quickly, and take the creativity and the ingenuity that humans have and allow them to have a superhuman partner to solve really, really, really big challenges? I think presents such a unique opportunity for us in our lifetimes to see this all happen, that I think and certainly hope that that will outweigh any of the downsides that will come with where this is all headed.
That was awesome. Yeah, which what you said is the truth, and it's going to happen. I think we need to be careful. There's a lot of regulation that has to be had, sort of out of our hands. Guys like you can only build the tech, but you know, unless there's regulations in place and security provision protocols.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. So I agree there should be regulation. I always agree there should. I think regulation is not a bad thing. However, I do get concerned about some of the regulation. Um, for example, having to submit source code on everything you use AI to do makes me very concerned about the competitiveness of America on the global landscape. Um, Frankly, AI really
mhm,
is nothing that new. It's just making predictions based on algorithms and software. I've been
mhm.
building that for forever. I've been predicting which landing page someone will fill out a form on in 2002. And we didn't call it AI, and it wasn't large language model and all that, but it was a predictive algorithm. So I think it's very murky, and I get concerned that the people writing the regulations may not understand what all of it means. I do think lots of thought needs to be put into it, and I'm not saying there shouldn't be regulation, but I do get concerned of the slowing down of its innovation. I mean, one of the reasons America is still the greatest place to build and start a company, and the greatest place for opportunity for humans to advance themselves up the socioeconomic ladder, is because of our technology dominance over the last couple decades. And it's a huge, huge thing. And I don't want to see us lose that because regulation is created by people who don't understand what they're regulating.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden we get lapped by China, we get lapped by other countries. So it's going to be interesting to play out. Like I said, it's not, there shouldn't be regulation, but
Yes.
some of the stuff I've seen um, does concern me, that may not be so thoughtfully
Yeah.
written and may not be so informed as to the impacts it will have on slowing down businesses, or the impacts on actually the outcomes they're trying to get to from that regulation. Like that's kind of the way I think about it. What is the outcome they're trying to get, and how do you regulate to get it there? And I think it's probably politically, I don't say politically sexy, I don't know what the right word is,
Yeah.
to sort of stand up and talk about, we need to regulate this. Here's how we're regulating it. We're going fast. I regulated whatever. I just think we need to be cautious on
Yeah.
how we slow down some of our best innovators in this country, so that we don't disadvantage ourselves into where the new world is headed and lose our technological worldwide advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. We've mentioned it before on this podcast numerous times that inherently with how fast it's developing, nobody can really be an expert, and that's why we have everybody come on this podcast to discuss their point of view. And like you said, I agree. I was sort of throwing that out, because it's politically sexy, like you said, but it's not as easy as that. We have real problems to solve. competition from all fronts, and it's powerful, like you said. So whoever comes out on top is going to have the edge, and we need to really preserve, the quality of life that we're at the end of the day trying to improve.
And I also think when you look at regulation, when the 3 or 4 companies that are in the lead in AI all get really supportive about regulation, it makes me a little nervous that the reason they want to regulate it is to stifle competition and create the rule sets so that they're the dominant 3 or 4 players,
Yep.
which I don't think will happen. I think there's enough open source things happening in AI that it's going to become more of a
Yeah.
utility / commodity than maybe what we saw with like Google and pay-per-click, where they just kind of own it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that AI is going to go down that route because I feel like the open source models and different things like that are not going to allow for that one dominant
Yeah.
player. But yeah, it'd be interesting to watch and see what happens.
Ed, this might be a personal question, but what is one problem that you hope AI can solve to improve our quality of life? Specific to
I
you.
mean, one's tough, but I think I mentioned some of them, how I think about it. I mean, I think health, the ability to accelerate, trying to find various things to make everyone more healthy, whether that's from a dietary standpoint or from, DNA or, some sort of pharmacological, like whatever it is. I think that's really interesting. Climate change, and being able to try and reverse that. I believe there will be a commercial solution to
Mm-hmm.
help slow down some of the climate change, which will have a profound impact on everyone, from lower homeowners insurance costs to, people, if you're lucky enough to be down in Miami Beach. I'm in Chicago today and it's 20 degrees outside, but if you're lucky enough to be in Miami Beach, having that not go underwater sometime might be soon, that would be nice to solve that. So I think just the big challenges that really face us as a society over the coming, whether you think it's 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, whatever that is, I get excited about those big challenges having the potential to be solved more quickly, to have an impact on, our kids and grandkids' lives.
Ed, I want to thank you again for coming on. It was an absolute privilege to host you and talk to you today. During our short conversation, I learned so much, and I think everybody listening should really take your words for the truth that they hold, because you've been in this space a long time and you know what you're talking about. So thank you for
Well,
coming on. And, I hope the next time we see each other, because I'm in Buffalo right now, it's pretty cold too. So I hope
well,
the next time we
good
see
luck
each
this
other is,
weekend. Good
yeah,
luck this weekend. I'm pulling for your Bills. But no, it's been a real honor to be on here and have a conversation with you. And if any of your listeners ever want to talk about AI, legal, workflow
yeah,
process automation, like, I'm always available. I love talking about this stuff, and it's been great getting to know you over the past year. And I appreciate you inviting me on.
you got it, Ed. No problem. Well,
All right,
I'll see you soon.
see you soon. Thanks, Rocco.
Thank you.